Please welcome 2012 Hall of Fame inductee, Howard Nations.
Makes me proud just to do this.
I was asked at dinner last night, what was your most memorable trial? And I said, oh, that's easy. Let me set it for you. It was a town of 28,000 in North Georgia. The amount of controversy was $93. Before you start, the time frame on it was August 1947. So let me save you all the mathematical calculations that come out with me being about 90 years old and tell you that I was the plaintiff in the case. I was 9 years old. I'd been promised $93. I can't get over that. It's usually millions. I'd been promised $93 for 93 days of work, and at the end of that time, the guy who owed me said, so what are you going to do, sue me? Sounds like a good idea. So I did. I wasn't quite sure what lawyers were or what lawyers did. But I walked into a courtroom not knowing what lawyers did. I spent a half day in trial. And I walked out of that courtroom in August 1947 knowing without any doubt whatsoever that I was going to be a trial lawyer. And I've never wavered from that position since 1947. My grandfather said that it was probably more influenced by the fact that I was awarded $93 for 93 days of work, and my lawyer was awarded $250 for a half day in trial. I did take note of that, I must admit. On September 14th, 1966, I was granted the privilege of joining our wonderful, glorious profession. A profession that was founded in this country by Thomas Jefferson, by James Madison, James Monroe, John Adams, among others. A profession that was founded by the men who drafted the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence. And those founding fathers wrote into those documents the responsibility of the trial lawyer. We are the front-line defenders of individual rights. We're the front-line defenders of the judicial system. And we are the defenders of the constitutional principles that define our democracy. That is a very powerful mantle of responsibility that they created that has been passed down from generation to generation and rests with us today. And let me tell you how important it is that we understand that duty, especially the one about defending individual rights, rests with us today. Because I will tell you, individual rights of citizens do not defend themselves. They are not defended by politicians. And if you heard Mike's talk this morning, you know they're not defended by the judiciary. They're defended by us, by the trial lawyers. It's a powerful mantle of responsibility. It's customary at this time to acknowledge those who helped you get to where you are. I look back with great pride upon those that I would like to acknowledge at this time. It's the generation of trial lawyers just ahead of mine. When I entered this practice, September of 1966, it was just the dawn. It was the just beginning of the tort revolution. We'd just gotten 402A passed. We were starting to do away with a lot of bad laws. But that didn't just happen. It happened because the men and women in front of our generation made it happen. I speak, of course, of Melvin Belli, One of my personal favorites, the great Teddy Koskoff from Connecticut. The entire firm of Perry Nichols, Gaither, Colson, Beckham, and Spence. I was a great fan and a friend of Bill Colson's also. What a tremendous individual. They did three things that are important, and I'll tell you about them because it's important that we all understand it today, because the battle that they fought proceeds apace. They understood that a plaintiff's verdict in California by the Nichols firm helps plaintiffs in Rhode Island and Idaho, that the rising tide lifts all ships. So they joined together. They formed NACA, which became ATLA, which became the other ATLA, which became the American Association for Justice. Listen to this. In the first 50 years of the existence of ATLA, there was not one single piece of legislation that was signed into law that was opposed by that organization. They were the most powerful lobby in the country. My generation came along and they enlisted us in that fight. They did that by being there constantly in the halls of Congress. We fought. We don't have product liability today because it's the right thing to do. We have product liability today because we fought every year, year after year after year. The senator from Wisconsin every year for 18 years brought the product liability bill. Every year. We defeated it. Every year we fought it. Every year. But let me make this absolute point to you. We never won that by 51-49 in the Senate. We didn't win it by 52-48. We won by 41-59. The thing that has kept us in business and protect, this is how thin the line that holds our rights together is. The only thing that has kept us in business protecting the rights of our clients in product liability and other federal legislation that's been proposed over these decades has been one rule, the filibuster rule, so that we only needed 41 votes in the United States Senate to prevail. And that's how we would win. We'd win those battles year after year by 41, 42, 43. I don't think we ever won one by more than 50. I tell you all this because these are the men that created that. You saw some of the pictures of Stanley Prizer, some of the great lawyers from that generation. The other thing they did is they shared. They all went in and created new innovative techniques for trials. And then they would come to the ATLA conventions and they would share. And they would go around and do the medicine shows, Colson used to call them. Bill would go around and do his medicine shows. Mel would do his dog and pony shows. We had the Belle Isle seminars. They taught us. They taught us and they shared with each other and they brainstormed with each other. I tell you all this because right now, if you think we were hanging by a thread when we were winning 41-59 in the 70s and 80s and 90s, that was a massive victory compared to what we're facing today. You have got to get involved. You have to get involved in the fight in legislation. You've got to get involved. The way we do this, we still have lots of heroes in this business. And we have a lot of people who are doing things. You back those people. If you don't want to step out there and do it yourself, that's okay. But support those who are. Let me tell you the two most important words in protecting the rights of our clients. Linda Lipson. Linda is our voice in Washington, but she has to have our support. If you're not a member of AAJ, you should join. If you're not contributing, you should contribute. And you should contribute until it hurts and then go back and contribute some more. In addition to that, we have many heroes in this organization. We don't have to go outside. We don't have to look all around the profession to find them. Find these people. And Morris Dees. Seriously, talk about a hero. the work that they do, the Southern Poverty Law Center, support Morris in his work. The Innocence Project. Peter and Barry, the work they do with the Innocence Project. The work that's done, we have people who step out. Bobby, our speaker today, Bobby Kennedy, protecting the environment. We have people who stand up and do things that need to be done. I'm so proud of Mike and Keith Givens with the National Trial Lawyers and the American Trial Lawyer. Boy, the first time I saw the first American Trial Lawyer magazine, I said, wow, that's you're saying out loud what I've been thinking for years. So let me leave you with this. It's all about the clients. And I had a client last year who said it far better than I could. I represented a man in an 18-wheeler accident. His family was destroyed. His 8-month-old child was killed. His wife was in a coma. He personally had a mild brain injury. And his 8-year-old daughter had a severe brain injury. Destroyed by an 18-wheeler accident. I went to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I was in the hospital to see him, and he said, I'm glad you're here. Let's go in and see my wife. She just came out of the coma, and she wants to talk to you. So we walked in the hospital room, and there's his wife awake, and there's the doctor. And the doctor said, what is this? And my client said, this is our lawyer. The doctor said, I'm not going to have any damn lawyer looking over my shoulder I'm here, I'm rebuilding your lives. And my client said, better than I could ever say it, no, doctor, you're rebuilding our bodies. Our lawyer is rebuilding our lives. That's what we do. That's what we're about. Let's don't ever forget it. I am now, I always have been, and I always will be very proud to be a trial lawyer, and never more so than at this moment. Thank you, Mike.